everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to my favorite games from my favorite designers. Today we're talking about Phil Walker Harding, who kind of, when he first came onto the scene, I very much remember his first game, Archaeology, the board game, didn't really get a lot of buzz. His little Archaeology, the card game, did get more buzz. And then slowly over the years, he started doing a few more games. Now he's doing tons of games, to the point where many people will consider him one of their favorite designers. So let's take a look at my top 10. This was a list to do because he's done a lot of different games, but these are my 10 favorite games at the moment from Phil Walker Harding. Number 10 is Gingerbread House. Now, I love the theme of Gingerbread House. You're building a gingerbread house, trying to catch various people. Hansel and Gretel are only a few of the people in this game. You're catching all sorts of people, but it's just a tile-laying game where you're putting the different tiles, these two space, almost domino tiles in your house, trying to score points. And I just like the way this feels, and I think the theme adds a bit to the fun. Number 9 is the newest game on this list, and that is Planted. Planted is such a neat game. It's a drafting game, something that Phil Walker Harding is good at. As you draft these different cards to get resources and special abilities to then put plants in your house. And you have all different kinds of plants. The artwork, the components for this game are fantastic, but the design is pretty simple. You pass a hand of cards around, you take a card, it's going to give you resources. You will then use those resources to get plants or a special ability that you will use to get more points at the end of the game. Number 8 is another drafting game, probably his most famous drafting game, and that is Sushi Go Party. Sushi Go, a small little game about drafting, very popular. Sushi Go Party was an unbelievably lowly priced game and that doesn't just seem to have so much in it. Just drafting sushi. The idea of drafting sushi is fun anyway. I'll take this, I'll take that. It's not very complex. There's a sequel, Sushi Roll, which is good, but if I'm picking one, it's Sushi Go Party. Number 7 is Adventure Games The Dungeon. Now, the adventure games have kind of been up and down, but the first one, Adventure Games The Dungeon, really has that strong feeling of a point-and-click adventure. Unlike anything I played, it's such a generic name, The Dungeon. And in fact, the playing of the game, many of the themes were generic in it. But the whole thing is, you start, you're in a room, there's a hole. Do you stick your hand in the hole? There's an apple. Do you eat the apple? Do you stick the apple in the hole? What do? There's all kinds of things. As you find an item, you might go, oh, I could use this back somewhere else. And I really liked it. The Adventure Game series has not necessarily lived up to the hype of this first one, but this first one was great. Number 6 is Silver and Gold. Silver and Gold is a flip and write where you flip over a card and you draw little Tetris shapes on different pirate islands that you have. You're trying to fill up the whole pirate island as quickly as you can, because then you get new cards, and each pirate island you fill up gives you points, but you're also trying to look for treasure and other things as you do. Very simple, but it's a really smooth game. It is actually one of the best in this genre that's out there. But not necessarily my favorite, because my number 5 is another one in the same genre called Super Mega Lucky Box, which definitely, as when you look at the cover, you'll notice it has like a Schoolhouse Rock style theming to it. And it has that same aspect to it, but this one is not shapes as much as numbers. It has a little bit of a bingo feel to it, and it's just a lot of fun. Number 4 is Polyominoes. Phil Walker Harding does a lot of games with these tiles. I already mentioned Gingerbread House, and there's Llama Land. But Baron Park, the Bear Park game about building your parks, and you have these different tiles. You're just trying to fill it up as quickly as possible. There are a lot of games out there, but this is one of the smoothest, very fun, and then just the motif is neat. When you're done, you're like, I have a park with lots of bears in it. I want to go to one of these parks with lots of bears in it. But anyway, the game itself, very good, very fun. Number 3, critically acclaimed, Emotep. Now, this is a game in which you are filling boats with blocks, sending these blocks over to an island, and sending these blocks not to islands, but to different locations, and then physically building a pyramid or obelisks or whatever it might be. You're actually placing big, giant wooden blocks out. So it has that good, chunky feel. But the idea of, am I putting stuff on this boat? And then where am I sending the boat? And then each of the different areas will score in different ways based on the blocks that come there. It really plays well. I like it a lot. Imhotep. Number 2 is Gizmos. Gizmos, a game in which you have marbles and you're building your whole little machine. And you're pulling marbles. There's this whole little bundle of marbles that roll out, and you take a marble and you use these marbles as resources. A very unnecessary gimmick of a thing, but the game itself is really well done because you're building these pieces that let you break rules of the game or give you more special abilities as time goes by. If you like engine building games, Gizmos is one of the best there is. And number 1 is actually a reworking of the very first game that put him on the map for me. That's Archaeology New Expedition. Archaeology, the card game, such a simple game. Archaeology New Expedition takes the same thing, same simple game, and adds to it. You're trying to collect sets of cards. You can trade them with the middle. You can draw off the top of the deck. It even has a take that element in it of thievery, which normally I don't like in games, and yet this game just runs so smoothly. Most people have not heard or played this game. I really recommend you check it out. It's so quick, it plays, and it's just fun to collect the things. You might want to go for treasure maps. You might want to try to collect the smaller but more valuable sets or the bigger, easier to get stuff. And then a nice little trading with the middle aspect. It just plays so smoothly and well. So those are my 10 favorite games from Phil Walker Harding. What are yours? Let me know in the comments. But until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching my favorite games from my favorite designers.